Welcome everyone to science lecture. Let's continue with the topic chemical effects of electric current. Children, in the last video we stopped with the discussion of chemical effect of electric current. But before starting with the topic, we had just talked about the two electrodes which are dipped in an electrolyte. So here we have two metal rods dipped in the electrolyte, where the metal rod connected to the negative terminal is called as cathode, and the metal plate connected to positive terminal is called as anode. Now today we will learn what happens when we allow electric current to pass through this electrolyte. Here, as you can see, there is an electrolyte in the beaker, then two metal rods connected to a source of electricity, where one electrode is connected to the negative terminal, so therefore it is called cathode. Other metal rod is connected to positive terminal, hence called anode. Now what will happen when electric current is allowed to pass through this metal rod? As soon as we switch on the electric current, what happens? What chemical change takes place in this electrolyte? Here is the electrolyte, and when electric current passes through this electrolyte, the electrolyte dissociates into positive and negative ions, and as they separate into positive and negative ions, these ions start collecting towards the electrode having the opposite charges. That is, the positively charged ions, they move towards the negatively charged cathode. Same way, the negatively charged ions, they move towards the positively charged anode. And these ions are also given a name. Positive ions are called as cations, and negatively charged ions are called as anions. So that means when electric current is allowed to pass through an electrolyte, the electrolyte dissociates, resulting into cations and anions, which move towards and collect near the opposite charged electrodes, which are cathode and anode. And this process is known as electrolysis. So we define electrolysis as the process of chemical reaction by passing electric current through an electrolyte is called electrolysis. And what is electrolyte? A substance which conducts electricity in liquid state when dissolved in water, breaks up chemically during the process, is called electrolyte. Now here we have one example. When we pass electric current through water, what happens to water and what chemical reaction takes place in water on passing electric current? So when electric current is passed through a conducting solution, some chemical reaction takes place. For example, when electric current is passed through water, water dissociates into hydrogen and oxygen. As you can see, hydrogen is deposited over the negative rod and the oxygen is deposited over the positive electrode. This deposition of hydrogen and oxygen at different electrodes is visible in the form of bubbles. We can see some bubbles collecting near the electrodes, which are actually hydrogen and oxygen gas. Now, when electric current is passed through the solution of a metal salt, such as solution of copper sulfate, metal gets deposited at the negative electrode because metal is positively charged. And sometimes the color of solution also changes when electric current passes through it. So this is what happens when electric current is passed through an electrolyte. So this is how we can define these two processes. Electrolysis is the decomposition of an electrolyte by the passage of electricity through molten or aqueous solution of the electrolyte, whereas a substance in aqueous solution or molten form dissociates into ions and can conduct heat and electricity is called as electrolyte. For example, when we pass electric current through sodium chloride solution, sodium chloride, when it is dissolved in water and we pass electric current through this solution, sodium chloride dissociates into sodium and chlorine, where sodium is cation and chlorine is anion, and they both will collect near the opposite charged electrodes. That means sodium will collect near the cathode and chlorine will collect near the anode. Okay children, so this is all for today. We'll stop here. Read the textbook and just try to understand the process of electrolysis and try to understand what is the meaning of the term